back to another episode of Unsettled. It is our season premiere. It's our number 10.
Season finale.
It's our season finale. Oh, so what does that mean? What does it mean? That's what it means. Exactly. We deserve a yay.
We do.
We do.
It's gone very well so far.
It has. But we will encourage you all to like the video and subscribe and possibly share it. Because we do need some input.
Yeah.
This is a problem. We have so much we want to share with you guys, and it's finding the right direction. With doing the Unsettled, I mean, it's become the most popular part of the channel.
Yeah.
It has. Other than that, our podcast at the beginning, then it drifted off, then we're back again, drifted off, back again. It's very up and down, but with Unsettled, we are firmly
on the up.
Yeah, we're firmly en route to what we want. So we're kind of like, okay, do we do another season? Do you guys want another season? I mean, if you did, I'd happily put the time in, so would Will. We'd deliver another season. I mean, it's something we want to do.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, you know, if you guys didn't really enjoy it that much, that's fair enough. But, you know, we might continue, we might come back, but for now, this is our last episode. Which is kind of sad.
It is kind of sad.
I really enjoyed it.
It's really good. It's definitely more focused.
It's focused, it's driven, people enjoy it, people enjoy our theories and our thoughts.
And discussions.
Yeah. And it's not so much up and down banter, which,
No.
you know, many of you love. Many of you like me mocking his podcast and what he comes up with. But at the same time, I'm like, we could do more.
Yeah.
We could do more if you guys had
to
to
bigger, better things.
Easily.
Easily.
But obviously, we're unsure whether we're going to do another season. We want to. It all depends whether you guys want to. And I guess this is where we need your input, because we've asked and we don't really get nowhere.
We've had a few good comments.
Yeah, I mean, people have messaged us, said to us that they enjoy the show, they enjoy what we're doing. And it's kind of like, okay, you enjoy it, but what else do you want? Like, because we can do tangible amount of things. I mean, it's alright us going out and like exploring some woods or, you know, but it depends what you guys want. If you guys want us to be behind this desk, unsolving mysteries and murders and crimes, we'll happily do that. We'll happily...
There's plenty of them.
Exactly. I mean, if we were to do a season 2, I reckon we could rack up loads.
Well,
I mean,
I've
ideas.
got a couple of ideas, but it's whether you guys actually, you know, enjoy watching it. And
I mean, I know many of you enjoy our banter and you enjoy our chats and you enjoy the mockery and our jokes, but like, we thoroughly enjoyed doing this. It's given us an input. I mean, during lockdown, I mean, many people have said that we've made them laugh. We can be quite funny. So yeah, what do you guys want? Like, seriously, what do you guys want? I mean, we'll happily deliver it, if that makes sense. We'll be like your favourite postman. If you have a favourite.
if you have a favourite.
I mean, you could get the envelope now, seal it up, walk to the post box, post it. They might enjoy it. They might. So yeah, episode 10, our last, for now. I mean, we might take a break, come back, we'll come back with some new ideas. But please bear in mind, we're always going to give you guys content. Like, we're not going to not give you content, we're going to give you content, but if you want another season of Unsettled, if you want the podcast back, if you want certain other aspects to come back, if you want us to venture off somewhere, do something, please let us know. Because we'll happily do it. I mean, we do it for fun, we do it to like bring some enjoyment into people's lives to some extent. And we also enjoy just sitting here, going through cases, having a laugh, really.
Yeah.
Just giving you guys...
Trying to work stuff out. Like,
I mean...
you know, the different points of view that I have, and obviously you have. we can... Yeah, there's like different points of view.
Yeah.
And obviously some of the comments that we've had, or like, some agree with your comments, some agree with mine.
It's good to have a different basis. I mean, it often works to have one good skeptic and one believer. So whether you're on my team and you're skeptic of ghosts, or whether you're on his team and be like, actually, nah, mate, ghosts are real. like it's good. It's good to have a different view, and possibly you support us in what we do. But yeah, so this is episode 10 of the Unsettled, and it's not necessarily unsettled. It's more of a what actually happened. So it's more of a let's let you think about this for a while. But in this episode, we're going to be discussing the skeptical death of Princess Diana. And, it baffles me. There's a lot of things that don't add up with this case, I guess. And there's a lot of things that I feel that do add up.
Yeah, there's some aspects where they're pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
And then there's other aspects where you think...
I mean, it's not necessarily a mystery that no one's ever going to solve. It is just a lot of theories of what happened the night Princess Diana died.
There are a few conspiracy theories.
Yeah. I mean, there was 32,000 of them.
Yeah.
And we're going to delve into a few.
We will delve into
possibly the ones that are more believable.
Yeah.
Shall we say?
And I've also got down here one. So he basically put the most conspiracy theories from a single person.
Yeah.
Into
one big format. Okay. So is this juicy, or is it just that whole what happened the night Princess Diana died, or if she did die? We don't know. Let's just have a little peek. Should we have a peek? Do you want a peek? Should we let our audience have a peek?
I think they deserve it if they've got to episode 10.
You reckon?
Yeah.
Alright then. On August the 31st in 1997, Princess Diana was killed in a car accident in Paris, along with her partner Dodi and her driver Henry. Sounds pretty straightforward. Car crash, it happens. It does it. Let's find out. Diana was just 36 years old when she passed away. Diana is remembered for her kindness and the way she treated others who she met with love and affection. And she treated everyone equally despite her reputation.
Yeah.
Despite her being a princess, she treated everyone the same. And she kind of broke barriers because she did break that third wall. She shook hands with people that at a time where people had HIV and AIDS, and it was said you can catch it from shaking hands. This was one thought that I was like, wow, like she knew who she was.
Yeah,
I mean,
she wasn't afraid to put her opinion forward.
Yeah, I mean, you got people out there even today that will happily stand away from a gay person because they feel they might contact it. They might contact being gay. She shook hands with people with AIDS, HIV, and helped many others. So it's often quite a shock to see someone of that caliber do that and put herself in that public.
She was very much the people person.
Yeah, I mean, they called her the people princess.
The people's princess, yeah.
So, on Saturday, August the 30th of 1997, Diana and her rumoured boyfriend, an Egyptian billionaire, we'll use his last name. What's his last name? Dodi.
No, that was his first name.
No, Emad Dodi. That's his surname, sir. Dodi. But we'll go with Dodi. Dodi, Emad Dodi Fayad. Al-Fayed, whatever his name is. They arrived in Paris following a 10-day getaway on the French Riviera. It doesn't sound too awkward, really. Sounds very fun. They dined at a private saloon at the Ritz Hotel in Paris. Minutes past midnight on Sunday, Diana and Dodi left the hotel and got into a black Mercedes, possibly to travel to Dodi's private estate. She was accompanied by her bodyguard and head of security, who was driving the car. Okay, they passed speed limits. Actually, the posted speed limit was 30 miles per hour. The driver, Henry, reportedly approached the entrance of the road in Paris at 70 miles per hour. Reports state the driver lost control and collided with a pillar in the middle of the highway. So you're on board. You get what we're getting at. So the driver and Dodi was dead at the scene, while Diana was still alive. She was rushed to hospital with a concussion, broken arm and a cut thigh. She also had suffered severe chest injuries. They operated for 2 hours but failed to get her heart beating properly again. She passed away from internal bleeding at 4:53 a.m. on August 31st. Now, I remember hearing this on the radio, that she had passed away. And it was a Sunday because I was out with my family being dragged off to the coast. So I remember that.
Yeah. I was sitting in front of the TV watching it with Nan.
Oh, wow. Right. So allegedly, she had a very rare injury. Britain's top forensic pathologist concluded that Princess Diana had a small tear in the vein of her lung. It was so rare that the injury, the pathologist had never seen anything like it before in all the years of his profession. Her death could have been prevented by one thing, a seatbelt, to which her bodyguard was wearing, but no one else in the car was.
No.
So her bodyguard survived. Yeah, only survivor was the bodyguard.
Yeah. They were also being followed by a car worth of reporters.
We'll get to this.
Yeah.
But what caused Henry, the acting head of security, to lose control? To drive fast. Paul's blood did exceed the legal alcohol limit. But you're going to now tell us a really, really useful bit of information.
So at the time, at the year, the alcohol driving limit, he was technically 3 times, the first time that they breathalyzed him, he was 3 times the French legal limit.
Right.
It turns out that it's just a little over hours for the blood alcohol saturation. He was also tested a second time once. That had to go back.
Yeah.
Once he'd got to the hospital and they were doing what they needed to do, I suppose.
Yeah.
He was tested the second time and this was confirmed.
Yeah.
He was also then tested a third time.
Which was through the eye.
It was. They took liquid from the inside of the eye, because it was much more easier to identify the toxicity level.
Yeah.
Of the blood alcohol saturation.
That makes sense. It makes sense to me anyway. Whether it makes sense to them, it makes sense to me.
So the third time was purely for. Because the English and French, obviously, they had
different driving alcohol limits.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
And they had an inquisition into the death.
Yeah.
So they had to go back again.
Yeah. To
get a third one for that trial, basically.
Yeah. So already we can somewhat understand that the driver was allegedly over the limit of the black Mercedes.
Yeah.
Now, we also are well aware that only one person wore a seatbelt, which was Diana's bodyguard. We're also well aware that Diana and the bodyguard were the only ones that were alive at the scene of the crash.
Yeah.
And to me, that's kind of like, oh shit, like, they collided. Like, I mean, it did show reports of the crushed black Mercedes against the pillar. It showed the car, but it never once showed the people. Which is possibly how we could get into some theories here.
It could be. As I said, obviously we'll go into it a bit more.
Yeah.
But they were followed by the paparazzi.
Yeah.
They were also speeding.
Yeah. I do bring up the paparazzi in my theory.
Yeah.
Because they were hounding her. They hounded her on a week vacation. They were photographing her. I mean, you've got to admit, this is a popular woman.
And you think this is maybe the start or midway through, divorce proceedings, maybe?
Yeah, it was. It was the divorce. It was halfway through the divorce of, Charles, I guess.
Yeah.
And to me, I'm thinking like all eyes are on her. I mean,
she's even said she went on to a talk show and really opened up. And the monarchy didn't like this at all.
No. I mean, I would like to give you a little bit of information. When she was asked about her relationship with Prince Charles, she even said, our relationship seems to have 3 people involved.
Yeah.
Which is curious. But it's curious for a different reason. Because she was well aware that Prince Charles was having an affair with Carmela. Is that her name? Carmela? Camilla? That'll do.
Yeah,
That'll do.
Camilla.
We'll run with that. But, yeah, anything you want to get into before we get into the theories? Other than the fact she was being followed by paparazzi.
So obviously, in 1999,
yeah,
as I said, a French investigation concluded that she definitely died in the crash due to her injuries.
Yeah.
And that the paparazzi was not the cause of the fatal crash, and indeed it was due to driver error.
Okay, well, that seems pretty standard.
Yeah, that's them covering the bases.
It seems pretty standard that they crashed the car. Everyone died apart from Diana's bodyguard, and that's pretty much how you can round up the situation.
Yeah.
So now we're gonna because the crash happened. I guess this is where we take a different bit of a twist. We're gonna come up with how did it happen, why did it happen, and was other factors involved. And it does go a little bit deeper. So. You know, this is where it could get a bit juicy, and you like it juicy.
I do.
You do like it juicy. So, my first theory was the fact that Henry Paul Mayer thought Diana's life was at risk.
Yeah,
he's the head of security.
Well, if you think it's dark,
yeah,
you know, you're
being
high profile.
You got the princess.
Yeah, you've got high
in your car
people,
and he's the head of security. He's gonna do what he thinks is best.
Yeah.
And if he thinks that someone, say, like Princess Diana, was being followed, or her life might be at risk, he might have potentially put his foot down to get away. Yeah,
you think
he's going to try and get away.
You see this car speeding up behind you.
You're going to panic.
You're going to just gun it.
Yeah. So that was one of my theories, was the fact he panicked and they crashed. I mean, he
took the corner too fast, lost control and went in.
The way I see it, he's head of security. He knows shit is happening. He knows that she is either a target because she was getting too popular, or there was people behind, and he's doing his job.
He's doing his job.
He's doing his job. So
whether he was over the legal limit or not,
he's doing
his job.
But reports state the car was being chased by paparazzi. When the car crashed, it was 9 paparazzis that had been following her.
Yeah.
Motorcycles and cars.
2 cars and 4 motorcycles.
Yeah. Also, it's very horrible to note that when the car crashed, the paparazzi continued to photograph the scene. And they might have actually caused it by taking pictures while driving next to the car.
Yeah, but he's looking in his mirrors.
There's flashes, constant flashes.
Like he blinks and
next thing you know, straight first into the pillar. It seems like a plausible explanation.
It does seem like a plausible explanation.
If you've got flashing lights in your rear, your sides, everywhere else,
you're very distracted.
Yeah, and you were constantly looking around.
Yeah, you've got 4 beams behind you. You can't look in your rearview mirror.
But how sick is the fact that paparazzi continue to photograph without calling for an emergency service? They just continued photographing. All the members of the paparazzi actually got sentenced to court for manslaughter.
Yeah.
But they got away scot-free. So here you have the biggest high-profilist, should we say, woman in England, possibly being chased by paparazzi.
On a foreign soil.
And they continue to photograph the dead bodies, and Princess Diana clearly injured. And may I just add, not one of these pictures ever surfaced.
Nope.
Which
they were all destroyed.
Which is kind of suspicious. Whether it was a court factor where they said destroy the pictures, do not publish them, because they could have got done for manslaughter.
True, but the thing is, I think Diana and the Prince of Wales had this thing that the paper, if anything was published, the paper would be shut down. Yeah. Like they had. But then
they were photographing her away on holiday, and that was all put in the UK papers everywhere. Yeah. I mean, you could see her in a bikini, for fuck's sake. They were getting that close. I mean, to me, that's kind of like, okay, the paparazzi were in the wrong. They shouldn't have hounded her, but hey, they're looking for a payday. This is what you get when you become famous. Yeah, I guess.
High profile, you know.
But it's still
one
sick.
snap could get thousands of francs, dollars, pounds.
It's still sick.
Yeah.
The fact that when they arrived at the crime scene, even if they potentially caused it, they
did
pull
nothing
over and
about
they
it.
just continue photographing.
They did
Photographing
nothing
dead
about it.
bodies of that caliber and you're in that job role, you're sick. Right, the other part was it was a planned attack. Which is plausible because Diana wrote on a piece of paper after the divorce to Charles in 1996, her marriage was in an actually horrible state. Matt actually suffered an eating disorder thanks to Prince Charles. He held her and told her that she was getting a bit tubby. So she stopped eating.
Yep.
She
developed a disorder.
Yeah, she developed an eating disorder. She was constantly depressed. She was unhappy. She was treated like shit by the royal family, by every account knowledgeable, simply because of her popularity and how people related to her.
In their view, she was getting too big for her boots.
Yeah, and please, bear this in mind. I don't know whether you know this. Prince Charles met her 15 times, then got married. You meet someone 15 times? She moved out of her flat in London to go live with him. So it's just an ordinary busybody that he was just like, right, I want you.
Yep.
And then he began to...
It's like you...
He didn't begin to
Basically,
belittle her.
she was the perfect fit for him at that point in time.
Yeah.
You know, he was getting on. He needed heirs.
Yep. She did... I would like to also add, she married Prince Charles 14 days after meeting him. And I did say 15, but I meant 14. Either way, we can scrap this bit. But either way, it's...
No, it was 14 days, but they had 15 meetings.
Yeah, but still, it's kind of shocking that someone of such a high caliber met just a regular person, and then all of a sudden, whether she was well liked in the royal family is a different matter. But for me personally,
some say that she was groomed.
Yeah.
For that role.
Yeah.
You know, like...
I mean, it's like you're thrusted into the limelight straight away, and you start being yourself, and then you're disliked.
Yeah.
And to me, it kind of sounded like Prince Charles possibly belittled her, spoke to her, and she probably often felt like she didn't fit in, which I can imagine would happen to anyone if they got included in the royal family. You're not gonna fit in.
No.
I mean, to be honest, if you come from like bare bones like what she didn't come from a wealthy family.
No,
she got shoved straight into
came
Buckingham
like
Palace,
like
and that
us.
was it.
She came from people like us. That's why she was so connectable.
Yeah.
To those people.
This is
she
why
understood.
this is why a lot of people relate to her, right? But the note she wrote was this: I am sitting here at my desk today in October, longing for someone to hug me and encourage me to keep strong and hold my head up high. This particular phase in my life is the most dangerous. Charles is planning an accident in my car, possibly brake failure and serious head injury, in order to make the path clear for Charles to remarry. Now she wrote this, and then a couple of years later it happens.
Yeah, it was.
It
was actually released by Diana's butler 2 years later.
I mean, it's actually kind of creepy that some people could tomorrow you could write, oh, an aeroplane's going to crash, and then it happens 2 years later. It's kind of creepy that what you write kind of manifests itself. But to me, it's kind of like she knew something. So she obviously wanted out of this relationship.
She knew something
very quickly.
Heard something.
Yeah. She always knew Prince Charles was seeing someone. She made references saying the three in a relationship. So it seems like that letter alone seems to me like she was scared, paranoid, and she kind of felt like the royal family were against her.
That was her release.
Yeah. I mean, it's like me with writing. Like I've said before, I will write things, it'll be a release, and then I'll never have to talk about it.
Get it down on paper and
then destroy it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But how is that, like, from your point of view, knowing that she wrote that before the accident, it kind of, I don't know, it kind of makes things very, very suspicious. I mean, you could die if you walk out your house. I mean, bearing in mind, you could get struck by lightning, hit by a bus, hit by a car, you can die in a car crash. You could die a million types of ways, but specifically a car crash.
And specifically the way it was.
Yeah. Right. Oh, let's dig in a bit more. So, there was a couple of other, I mean, there was 36,000 conspiracy theories in total. So much so that the Metropolitan Police had to go through every individual theory, possibly to debunk it.
Yeah, it was one of those things that so many people, again, as I said,
she's a high-profile character.
So many people have reported stuff
And she's such a high...
that they have to look into it.
And because of the woman she was.
And yeah,
because it's a princess, because she's such high profile.
Yeah.
Like if it was just a celebrity, as we all know, they don't give a shit after 2 weeks later.
Unless there will always be a new celebrity.
Yeah, unless something comes up from that person's death,
yeah.
right? But for this to be a princess, for this to be a woman,
you know,
of high caliber, higher than a celebrity.
She has hundreds of charities.
Yeah.
Like all over the world.
But for me to think that there's 36,000+ conspiracy theories, I know we're only basically touching on a few of them, and I think one of the main ones that kind of stood out to me at this point was the fact that she could have been pregnant with Dodi's child, right? And the royal family didn't want anything to do with an Egyptian or someone of that background, possibly being a little bit racist.
So I've got a little bit of information about that.
Yeah. But can I just say?
Yeah, go ahead.
Can I just say quickly? A lot of people believe that the death reports of Princess Diana was just a lie.
They were faked.
Yeah, they were faked. Because such a severe tear of a lung to cause internal bleeding, of a vein, sorry, in your lung to cause internal bleeding, to kill you off within a couple of hours, it is possible.
It is possible, as I said, we don't really
know
what your body goes through.
Yeah, we don't know what impact her chest had, but obviously she was quite a skinny woman anyway.
She was very skinny.
It's like me getting in a car crash, I'll probably snap in half. But what I found intriguing was the fact that they could have covered up the death record and she could have been pregnant. This is another part of me that thought that, okay, the royal family didn't want, you know, her to have a son or a daughter from a certain descent or a certain foreign descent entering the royal family.
Yeah.
So for me to think that possibly the death record was altered and to say that she wasn't pregnant is very plausible because the royal family, they're much like the government, they're full of shady shit.
Yeah.
But please go ahead.
So, as we've touched on, she died with Mohammed Al Fayed's son, Dodi. Who was a boyfriend at the time. Now this is confirmed by Mohammed Al Fayed himself. Yeah,
I mean it was rumoured that was her boyfriend.
Yeah.
And I think that's what the paparazzi were trying to get glimpses of.
Yeah.
Because it was high profile status.
Oh yeah. Like,
if
as
you
said, he's
a billionaire.
He's
an Egyptian billionaire.
Yeah.
He is high profile in itself. Where did she meet him? Don't say Egypt.
It was one of the trips.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. Go
on. So Mohammed Al Fayed later on, this goes into, as I said before, he actually put forward 175 of those conspiracy theories, because he believed that his son was killed, or so to say, he was murdered in the car with Diana because she was pregnant.
Yeah.
Now he also let slip that she was.
Whereas the reports said
that's
she wasn't.
That's why they were going out celebrating.
But just say
because she was a very family-orientated person.
But just say that she did a pregnancy test that day, and they did an autopsy. It might not even show.
It probably wouldn't show.
I mean, I don't know how deep they can go into that, but to me it's like...
basically... It depends how far along she was.
Yeah, I mean, if she found out that day she was pregnant...
But if she found out that day, it would be the size of a pea and it would be destroyed in the cupboards.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been, obviously, not necessarily
but
destroyed.
the amount of blood
but what I'm
or
getting
internal
at is,
bleeding...
What I'm getting at is, it probably wouldn't have appeared. I mean, I don't know how good pathologists will work. But whether...
Well, the thing is, if they're not looking for it, they won't find it.
No, I mean, they were literally trying to make her survive, and then they put...
They will try and stop the bleeding, but they wouldn't...
Yeah. I'm fully on board. I mean, I would fully agree with that, but I was just curious, how far along does a woman have to be pregnant for it to show up, say, if she did die in an autopsy report? I mean, she could have found out that day.
That's what I mean. Like, it would.
I mean, they were obviously celebrating something. That's just curious, because you don't just have a whole 10-day holiday to get away, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh,
celebrate.
We'll go to a private place. I mean, I can understand. Oh, right, it's a princess. Yeah, I get it.
Mm.
Go to a private place, but to celebrate to that extent, and for people to be drinking that amount.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's curious.
Like, she was a very safety-orientated person. To get in a car without a seatbelt is
also,
totally out of her character.
And like I said to you, for a bodyguard, a head of security, to drink so much, that he's paid fucking thousands, no doubt. And for him to go, oh fuck it, or if maybe they were encouraged, maybe there was a celebration. Maybe it was just like, oh yeah, you know, I'm head of security. Yeah, I have a few drinks with you. I feel good, but I am over the limit. Maybe he didn't even know. Maybe the drinks he was drinking was high. Maybe the alcohol content was like, whoop. You just don't know. But carry on. It's really interesting. I'm really liking it.
Well, as I said, yeah. So he actually confirmed quite a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Now, the royal family just shunned it off, going conspiracy theory. Yeah. You know, I mean, you've lost your son. You are very.
Do you know the craziest part? It took the Queen almost 5 weeks to make an announcement. To make an announcement, I'm just like, holy shit. Oh, yeah. This is why I don't like the royal family, you know. Like, I think one of them's alright. Maybe Harry. Everyone likes Harry. He's the ginger of the group.
Yeah. Which is actually gone to America. He's no longer one of the royal family.
No, he's literally up and left because he felt like he was shunned. But that's a different subject.
But that's a
go
different point. So, yeah, going back to the note that you mentioned.
Yeah.
That was actually, as I said, Paul Burrell, the Diana's butler. He released that. He's got in a lot of trouble with the royal family. He was basically told that if he released this, he would never work for the royal family again.
And he didn't. He went on a celebrity instead.
He said, you know what? This needs to be told. The people need to know. Yeah.
I mean, the people did want to know. They wanted to know so much shit.
Exactly. That's why. Hence the paparazzi. So, yeah. So, obviously, going back to the driver.
Yeah.
Henry Paul.
It's Henry or Henry, but we get the idea. He's French.
Yeah. He about 2 years later, in 1999, as I said, the French investigations and stuff.
Yeah.
They had an English inquiry as well, and he was actually by a jury. He have a verdict of unlawful killing. They also included that the paparazzi, basically, the passengers weren't wearing their seatbelts, so they had gross negligence.
Yeah, we go with it. Yeah.
Over their own safety.
Yeah. See, to me, it's weird for a princess, someone of high caliber that could potentially risk her life every single day, to not wear a seatbelt.
To not wear a seatbelt in a high-speed chase. Even if you are laughing and joking in the back, you would still put your bloody seatbelt on.
I mean, if you saw paparazzi coming from all angles and they were literally surrounding you, imagine that photograph.
The driver's sped up. You're not going to be.
Imagine looking around, going, "Oh shit, I better put my seatbelt on. They might get a picture of me." Like it seems like a last-minute ditch effort. Like, ooh.
Yeah.
And for someone such as this woman, this is what I can't understand. For someone such as this woman to not wear a seatbelt, to obviously be celebrating, but at the same time to not think, hang on, anything could happen anywhere. And she already seems paranoid. Like, even if she was dating someone out of the royal family, as she was, you'd be a #1 target. I don't care what you say, you're a #1 target.
No. I agree. I fully agree.
Oh, he agrees. We're getting somewhere.
So, going back to this proposed child. Now, the royal family's views at the time, because technically she would still be married to Prince Charles.
Yeah.
They wouldn't want.
This is what I said, wasn't it? They wouldn't want someone of
they
that caliber.
Wouldn't want someone of that race and creed, because Al Fayed, both father and son, were devout Muslims.
It's curious. Because the whole of the German family, the whole of the thinking royal family are German.
There we go.
Let's go to war. Oh wait, I'm German. Who do I vote for? I mean, yeah, okay, I'll get it.
So basically, as I was saying, that because they were devout Muslims, this say Dodi and Diana's son or daughter would follow the family, the father.
Yeah. In terms
because that's
of
how
religion.
their religion works.
And the thing is, Princess Diana would
and
have
she
allowed
would
that.
upkeep the religion.
She would have allowed that because she was going to Africa. She was going to places of poor countries and helping them out.
She's experienced what
she knows what it's
and
like.
race does to everyone.
Yeah. She knows what life's like. The Queen and the royal family are just. Whereas she was like
already said in previous states that if I had, I think she was in Africa.
Yeah. And
she was like, if I had an African son, he would be, you know, he would follow.
And this is why her personality and everything about her was so well liked.
Oh yeah.
Because she appealed to so many people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my other theory was, it's plausible, but you might just shut it down. No, it's not aliens. I've moved well away from aliens.
No.
Because I know how you feel about them. I know you hate aliens. But my other theory was the fact that she faked her own death. Now, she already knew that Prince Charles was seeing someone else. Behind her back. They were going through a divorce.
Yeah.
She was paranoid. She was scared. She's got the money to fake her own death.
She's got the money to disappear.
She has, and to not be in the public eye, as much as that would possibly harm her.
But the thing is, that this is what would run through my head. How would she disappear? She's been to every corner of the earth.
I reckon
there is no one in the world that wouldn't go. I think I just saw.
I reckon it would be like another. I'm gonna hate saying it. Another Michael Jackson scenario, where she possibly faked her own death and went to go live with her boyfriend in that country. I mean, alright, yeah, you could say that, but then she could have been she could stay indoors for a few years, grow her hair, change,
wear it a different way.
Not necessarily change her appearance. I mean, the whole world.
To be fair, there was over 10,000 sightings a week after her death.
Yeah, I know. but what I'm saying is, it's plausible.
Oh no! I mean, it is plausible.
It's plausible.
People have done it.
It's plausible in my head because if she's paranoid, if she's scared, she knows that if she stays with the royal family, she's going to be a target no matter what she did. Like, the Queen and everyone else are going to fucking hate her, and the only reason they liked her was because she already had 2 sons.
Yeah.
Right? Now, the UK didn't see much of her 2 sons, obviously when she gave birth, when they were all up and about. And then all of a sudden, like after her death, the 2 sons are shunned from the public eye. No one sees them.
They were kept away for a long time.
They were. They didn't talk either for about 10, 15, 20 years later. I think it was like 10 years later.
Anyway.
Yeah, not properly. So for me to think, okay, so everyone in the royal family, say I'm Diana right now, everyone now thinks, everyone wants me dead. I've just told my sons, look, this is what's going to happen. She fakes her own death, she's got the money to. She then goes lives with her boyfriend. She then has contacts to her sons very quickly. She's already told her sons the plan. One is old enough to understand, the other one isn't. That's the kind of...
where... I'm on your wavelength.
Yeah, but this is where it kind of drifts, because the youngest one might let slip something because he doesn't know any different. Whereas the oldest one would know. Does this make sense? So unless she said, look, you need to be quiet, don't say a word, please be quiet.
To be fair, I don't know how true this was.
Yeah.
But this is coming from multiple sources.
Okay.
William, the eldest, did not talk to Charles for 6 years.
Yeah. I mean, they were seen out in public events.
Yeah.
They exchanged a couple of words because they were recorded and everything else. So
but you would see the hatred.
He's bound to.
in his face.
Because his
purely
father had
because
an affair with another woman.
Oh yeah. Like I'm not saying it's
Yeah,
not.
yeah, yeah.
It's just purely for the fact that you could see they would stand next to each other. They would lean in, take the picture, lean out, and William would walk off.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they were probably shunned as well because they're Diana's children.
Yes, but they're also the prince's children.
Yeah, and,
so it's that
and to
kind
be
of
honest,
thing is,
if you're in the royal family, you can get away with shit, and they have done.
Well, the thing is, William kind of went from. It was kind of like me and you, really.
Yeah.
He was raised by his grandmother.
Yeah, yeah.
He was not raised by his father.
Well, that wouldn't surprise me. That really wouldn't surprise me. But that this is a plausible thing. She could have told William, look, be quiet. I will contact you, but if I don't leave, I'm gonna get killed. And you know, it's plausible.
Yeah.
And then later on, obviously, like I can't remember the age difference between them both. I don't know whether they were old enough to understand much. But
I think it was 2 years.
But we don't know how old they were when she died. I think they were like 10 and 14 or something.
Yeah, that's
possibly around that. But it is possible. I mean, she could have just faked her own death. She's got the money.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, it seems odd. Head of security crashes a car, unless he thought her life was at risk. I mean,
So I will go into my second theory.
Go on.
The driver of the car. His name. That's that.
I have his name. His name was driver Henri Paul.
Right. So, theory 2. He was actually an MI6 agent. And it's stated by them that they had special operations in Diana's case.
Okay.
So, there was one person saying that if you searched their records, which one of the agents actually came, he got discharged for not agreeing with a certain policy.
Yeah.
He got shunned.
Yep.
He then came out and went, you know what? You know, I've got shunned by this thing, but this is not out of that.
Yeah.
This is purely for Diana's case. MI6 was involved.
Yep.
And I can't say any more than that because I was not there.
Yeah, yeah.
But I disagreed with the action, and that is why I left.
Okay. So it's possible that because he was working for the
MI6.
MI6.
He was an MI5 agent, but it's MI6 is the
so
special.
It's possible that they asked him to possibly kill Diana. And he said no, so they did it anyway.
So they done the hit under the bridge.
Yeah.
Or they done the hit at a certain...
But I'm still baffled because obviously how did they know where they were driving to?
He was told.
Yeah, I know.
He was told where to drive to.
Yeah, yeah.
But you think...
To me that doesn't sound... It sounds plausible.
It sounds plausible in a James Bond film.
It does. But then it's shady shit. You got the MI people, you got government, you got Queens.
You got MI5.
Yeah.
So I had a look at this one.
Yeah.
MI5 is London and surrounding areas. So, you know, they'll come down as far as us.
Yeah.
Maybe like Hastings. They'll go to the coast. They'll go relatively close to around that area. Whereas MI6 is worldwide. Yeah. That would be the James Bond scenario. Yeah. Is MI6. So they're the global security.
But is that anything really concrete? Despite the 30, what was it,
the 30,000
36,000 conspiracy theories. That is insane.
So it depends what you believe. So
I mean,
if you believe medical records, which could easily be tampered with,
easily changed,
paid off,
money talks, mate.
Death certificates can be changed. Death can, it was a week later when they published a death certificate.
Yeah.
You know, that is a long time.
Yeah.
Like, I know they've got all of this stuff to go through, all the
Yeah,
investigations.
yeah. I understand that, but surely she died that day, so you should then
You would
do
issue
the
death
autopsy.
certificate.
You get your pathologist involved, and you'll go through it all.
Yeah.
But whether they were paid off to say something else, whether they were told not to say that. I mean, how far does the Queen and the royal family have power?
Well, that's the thing. So, obviously, going back.
Yeah. We can go further back. It's fine.
Like, you think the
We
Queen.
can time travel.
Yeah.
We time travel back. See us.
Like, you think the Queen mothers, say, like Queen Elizabeth.
Yeah.
She was a very powerful woman.
Obviously.
Like, that was back then when England had monarchy.
She also had a ferret.
She did.
It was a white one. It was albino.
Albino ferret.
Apparently, if you had a ferret back then, you were rich.
You were indeed.
Now, if you got ferrets, you're classed as a farmer.
Yes.
How times have changed. But yeah, go on.
Yeah. So, obviously, she was a very powerful woman. She had her fingers in every single pie in the country.
God, I bet she got fat.
She was quite a big lady.
I bet she was.
She
I
was
bet that
quite big.
corset weren't doing very well for her.
She was massive around the waistline.
That would not surprise me.
And
doesn't appeal.
Twice the size around the bust. But she had to go through certain...
Have you been looking up pornography pictures of the Elizabeth?
No. The reason why is I had to do basically a mini thesis. And again, like the Tudors and stuff like that, I was really into researching them.
I bet you were.
And she had to go through doors sideways.
Because of her dress also, because it had that metal thing round it, and it would give her a bit of a bust.
Yeah.
I'm well aware, I'm in tune.
But she had to go through doors sideways, not because of the dress, purely because of her size. They had to build that metal frame so she wouldn't suffocate herself.
So technically she was like the old giant woman.
Yes.
Like an Iron Man.
Yeah. She was...
About time that woman did some ironing, I'm telling you.
The amount of crinkles in that dress. Even the bloody collar things were called ruffs.
That's why it was roughed. Saved them ironing anything. But
yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, yeah. That's where your ferret pops up. Yeah, go on.
But no, like, as I said, she was a very powerful woman. So
does she have power in loads of countries?
Well, if you think, like... Okay. Mini break. So, we've done... Like, England back then done exactly what Hitler wanted to do. We had populations in India, Africa, everywhere.
I so wanted to do the Hitler sign right then. My arm twitched.
Yeah, I know, it was like, no!
I was like, I can't go to tape.
So...
Can't do that on the YouTube channel. Oh,
not yet.
Not yet.
Maybe season 2.
If they want us.
If they want us.
If you want us back, I will happily do the Hitler sign.
And we'll maybe get some memorabilia.
I do have a Nazi armband.
If you want to see that, please comment. Anyway.
Can you imagine? Start of the video and I've grown a little tash and I'm like, didn't take.
That's a lot of mascara just to get that little bit.
Maybe you should be Hitler.
I can't get that middle bit. It goes like that.
Mate, I can't get any of it. Okay, I just don't let it grow. Go on.
Yeah, so anyway, as I said, she was very powerful. She had basically things all over the world. She had little pockets of every country.
Yeah.
Obviously, with the Commonwealth and God knows else what and everything else, we gave them back.
But still, is it plausible?
It is very... I would say it was plausible in...
Because I wouldn't ever say that... I don't know,
See,
like...
MI5 and MI6 getting involved, it's plausible in film.
Maybe it was just a tragic accident.
But we don't know how powerful they were.
Or they are.
Or they are. Even though they've stepped back. And
I mean, I'm not going to lie, the Queen had a COVID injection way before anyone else did.
Well, I think she's like the head of... I'm not getting involved in that one.
I would still cough through her letterbox.
Which mansion are you going to?
I'm going to the one that she's in. I'm going to poke my finger through her little letterbox and then close it back. Then let's go. It's in tape.
Someone shouts out the window, Gesundheit!
But the thing is, if I did go Gesundheit, she'd probably respond because she's German. Maybe that's who else my ancestors are.
So, my theory 3, which is the last theory that I've got.
I'm still thinking I could be related to the Queen.
Well, you never know.
Good, I hate my mother.
Well, she hates her grandmother, so good luck. So, there was rumours that Prince Philip...
Don't like that man.
No.
He's a wrinkly second bone.
Prince Charles and Diana's sister were all in on it.
Hate goes a long way.
It does indeed. So, there was rumours that her sister, because she had brought her up in some aspects, was jealous of what she's achieved.
What, jealous that she got handpicked by a wrinkly old fart like Prince Charles?
Did she get handpicked though?
He probably, I don't know, he probably played a game of Guess Who and with that one.
Blonde, short blonde hair,
long legs,
good breeding stock,
miniature waist, petite bosom.
You don't know.
Sounds like my Tinder profile. What are you after? Breasts.
So yeah, like, obviously, so shortly after this, Prince Philip receded from the island.
Yeah.
He actually went away to an institution.
Of course he did.
Where he booked himself in.
Oh, he's got mental. Dun, dun, dun.
He called it a retreat.
I'll tell you what. A lot of people went to asylums and mental hospitals for a retreat to get away when they're all weird.
And then he came out and was a lot of bad press about Prince Philip in general. But I won't go into that.
I don't know what you're on about. He does shows for kids. What's wrong with him? He does finger puppets. He just uses the kids.
Oh
wow.
Yeah, so anyway.
We know it was season 10. It was gonna happen. I've been good. It's now going in. Prince Philip uses children as finger puppets.
I'm gonna make you talk. So obviously, yeah, it's like Prince Philip, Prince of Wales, and Diana's sister were all involved on some kind of plot.
Yeah.
Not necessarily to kill her, just to get her out of the way.
And obviously Prince Charles wanted to remarry.
Yeah.
That other witch was waiting.
He wanted to marry this drain-faced woman that is called Camilla. That's Camilla, but everyone calls her Camilla because that's how she speaks, very drony and boring. And
very Essex.
Yeah.
Hi, my name's Camilla. How you doing? Right, babes.
I'm Duchess.
I'm a Duchess. So lovely.
She should be hung from the nearest fucking tree.
Sounds like you don't like the royal family either.
No, I just don't like her.
We can agree on something. But nothing is conclusive.
No.
And
as I said, if you go by the medical reports and you believe
not
those...
being funny, you have... Another thing was, right, a lot of people kind of saw Princess Diana and Prince Charles together. It weren't a good match. And I guess this shows her popularity. So, her wedding on national television received 750 million views, right? Mm-hmm. That's a lot.
That is a lot.
That's 750 million views to see a woman and Prince Charles marry. It's a big thing over here. Oh, for the Queen or the Princess to marry.
We love a good marriage.
Fuck off, right? But this shows
in that aspect.
This shows the rise of her popularity. Her live funeral saw 2.5 billion views, and that was
worldwide.
Yeah, that was just in the UK and a few other countries, because obviously it was late showing in other places.
Yeah, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it wasn't live in other countries.
Yeah, yeah.
But it was...
Yeah, and even today, it still has more views than her wedding.
Yeah.
which to me is like, wow. Like, she was
More
fucking loved.
More than 10 times.
She was fucking loved. And to
She
me,
was.
that's kind of shocking, of someone having this much impact on the world and other countries, as we discussed.
Oh, yeah.
To then not wear a seatbelt, to not do this, to not do that. It's weird.
I don't think she would be that negligent.
And like I said,
to have 2 young sons at home.
yeah, 36,000 conspiracy theories.
Mm-hmm.
And may I just point this one out as well?
Mm-hmm.
We've only touched on what, 5, 6, 4, 5, 6?
Probably about 5, 6.
5 or 6. We've only touched on 6, and this is the craziest thing. Even though they are classed as conspiracy theories, they have all been investigated, and they've all been left open.
Mm-hmm.
And that is such a very odd piece of evidence.
It's one of those. It's one of those that each of them have got little tidbits of information that are correct.
What they've also stated was there was so much of the conspiracy theory that was so correct up until the point of, say, the ending. So it's like, oh, they could have been chased by paparazzi. They could have done this, they could have done that, they could have done... We've lost the candle.
Oh,
we're going to blow them all out.
It's the final countdown
Yeah,
again.
exactly. We're going to blow them out eventually. But it's all these odd conspiracy theories that rack amount so much evidence. So gradually someone somewhere is going to come forward. Something's going to happen.
Something's going to click, snap, or...
And it's just a matter of time. But I obviously picked the not conspiracy theories, but I picked the theories that I felt were very more on par than like the ridiculous ones. I mean, her being pregnant,
yeah,
spot on. Her records being tampered with, spot on.
Mm-hmm.
Them being chased, spot on. Bearing in mind the paparazzi, like I did say, they all got sent to court for manslaughter.
For manslaughter, whether it be
so
like.
I mean, it's crazy.
Negligent.
Even though the pictures were destroyed, right? Even though...
Well, you had a certain amount of pictures of the crash.
Yes. And that was all from different angles.
That was all from different angles.
They rushed over and they photographed their bodies. Now, I'm a very, very big believer in what you see is what you get.
Something will always leak.
Yeah, and nothing has.
And nothing has. Nothing of
and to me,
bodies and mangles and...
And may I also
You've
add...
had witness accounts, but no leakage.
And what I may also add, it wasn't an open coffin, yet again.
Nope.
It wasn't an open coffin, no one knows if her
Due to her popularity...
It could upset people.
It could upset people, but everyone wanted to see her.
It's the same as Michael Jackson. Everyone wanted to see him. People want proof nowadays. And if you can't provide the proof, you're always going to have a conspiracy theory. But this is the biggest one out of all of them that we could, well, that I personally let Will in on. Because none of them are closed. All the conspiracy theories
are left open.
And it kind of leads you to believe, what the fuck?
And dare I say, they still get little bits of information now.
They do, and it still continues to rise. I checked out a few conspiracy theory sites on the crash. And I
they're
checked,
still having discussions.
And the thing is, I checked one day and it said 36,000, right? Or what was it, 36? Yeah, 36,000, right? I went back the next day to find a little bit more information. It had gone up to 36,004. Yeah, and I was like, it's still rising. So, I would like to see photographic evidence, as grim as it sounds, of the bodies. But, as me and you both know, when that London van ran over people and terrorised London, people took pictures of that. And you could clearly see it's dummies that the van ran over. So maybe photographic evidence isn't good enough.
Nowadays, it's not.
No.
It can be tampered with so many ways.
I mean, you know, do you remember I was saying to you about the Boston bombings? And that guy had his leg blown off. And then someone, because we have mobile phones nowadays, we are in tune with recording everything and photographing everything we see.
Quick to snap.
Yeah, the guy was laying there with his legs blown off. Someone photographed him with his legs on, walking away from the scene, covered in blood. It's like, photographic evidence is not good enough.
No.
We need more. We do. And it's depressing.
It is depressing.
It is. Because we have so many things in this world that we just don't understand. and it's always going to be unsettled, and that's annoying.
Mm.
But if that means that so many things in this world are going to be unsettled, then
I would say this one is unsettled purely for the fact
that nothing
is concrete.
No, and everything is inconclusive.
And everything is tiny bits of information, but as I said, nothing conclusive.
No.
So this is very much unsettled.
You like saying that bit, don't you? That's your main bit in this. You're like,
That is
this
my
is
main
unsettled.
bit.
This
That
is
is my
unsettled.
main bit.
So, if you want season 2, you can have it. If you want to share, like, subscribe to us, please go ahead.
Leave a comment.
Yeah, we'll happily keep producing as long as you guys keep watching and keep liking. But for now, this is season 1, over and done. Thank you all for watching. It's actually been fun.
It has been
I'm
fun.
kind of sad.
Mm.
I don't want it to end. I enjoyed it so much.
Mm.
Subscribe.